Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're talking about some holsters, and well, just one holster in particular, and that is the holsters by Blackhawk. So you guys have probably seen these on the shelves or maybe online, but there were some folks that reached out to me and asked me to do a review on this particular holster here, which is the Blackhawk Serpa. So this is the Blackhawk Serpa Concealment holster, and it looks something like this here. This one here has the lock on it, which is a pretty cool feature, especially for the folks that are out hunting. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've been out hunting before with some other holsters that didn't lock in the pistol, and I've had them fall out before, depending on the type of terrain you're in and what you're doing. So that's kind of why I chose the locking style, because that just keeps the gun in there. I've never ever had one come out. You can also get basically the exact same holster here that does not have the locking mechanism. Now you can set tension on this here with this little screw right there. The Serpa has the same thing. So the only difference between these two is one locks and one doesn't. Now there is a difference on the back. You have the paddle style here, which you can just slip in over your pants around your hip, and you've got just the belt style. So let's take a closer look at this holster. It's well built, sturdy. I don't know if it's a plastic, rotomolded, or polymer. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's built pretty darn stout. So there's your tension screw right here, and that is going to increase and decrease the resistance of the pistol going in and out of this holster here. What I like to do is when I reach for my firearm, I always reach for my firearm in this position regardless. So this design here with that right there, all you do is just put a little bit of light pressure on it and it slides right on out. And that little bit of resistance you get here before it actually locks in is what you can adjust with your tension screw here. The other thing I really like about this on this style here, which is designed for a belt, is it comes with these little straps here that you can pop in to these little holes here, and you can adjust it for different size belts that you might wear. So my belt is an 1.5 inch belt here, so I can adjust it to fit with just very little slop there. And by the time you get this thing actually strapped on, it's pretty darn stout anyways. So these are pretty easy to install. All you do is slide them into these two pegs in this hole here. This locks over, pushes forward a little bit, and then snaps right down over those two posts. And that thing is on there just rock solid. It's also easy to just take a small screwdriver or a pick and get these apart. The other thing I really like about this is the adjustability of the angle. So you've got 3 screws here, and you've got a right hand slope or a left hand slope based on all the additional holes that you get in the holster. So you can take these 3 screws out, move the holster to the next screw position, and put those back in. Let's see how that looks when you're wearing it. So this one here is angled just a little bit forward, and that to me is very, very comfortable. I do know a couple of guys that angle them just a little bit further forward. I also know somebody who keeps them straight up and down. It's a personal preference thing, but just the simple fact that you can actually adjust it and get that angle that's perfect for the feel for you, I think is pretty nice. Now, if you want the paddle on here, you can certainly put that on. I'm not a huge fan of the paddle. They're just a little bit big and they're not that comfortable to me. Some people love them. I'm not a fan of them, but you know, they work too. And you know, if you're not wearing a belt or something, it's fine. And there's little tab right here that actually kind of helps hook your pants. So when you pull your gun, this whole holster isn't just sliding out. So it is a good design. It's just not that comfortable to me. But again, I know a lot of people that really like these things. Now on top of that, this is my speed holster here, or I'll call it a speed holster. It's also a Blackhawk. It's a Serpa. I did modify it just a little bit. This is my competition setup here. So when I'm out at the range, I keep this one here, and it works really well too. On this holster here, inside I have slightly modified the release. So I don't actually have to touch this to get it to release. I can just give it a quick jerk and pull that firearm out just as easy. But depending on the style of shooting I'm doing, that little bit of resistance there will stop the gun from falling out during a competition. So I can pull it, but it's got just a little bit of a hang up there, which is fine. It actually works really well. These Blackhawk holsters, I've got one for just about every gun I own. I've got them for the Glock 26, the 19, the 17, and the 40, and they fit every gun that I've got perfectly. They function perfectly. They're durable. I've had them out hunting, hiking all through the woods, up through the mountains. They work. They just flat work. I do, for hunting purposes, I think that this is important just because it just keeps that gun locked in when you're out there crawling over logs and through brush and stuff. The last thing you want to do is have that firearm come out of the holster, and it's just not that safe. Other than that, I really like these. The only thing I will say is Blackhawk names this a concealment holster. There's a lot of other holsters out there that are better at concealing than the Blackhawk holster. The Blackhawks, they're just, if you're looking at carrying, high lower back, something like that, these aren't really going to do that for you, at least not this style. If you're looking for conceal, you might want to check out some other options. A really good leather holster, high carry leather holster, something like that probably fit the bill just a little bit better. But I will say, with my Glock 26s, I do conceal carry with a Blackhawk holster, but I just make sure I've got on a loose shirt. I'm usually wearing my flannel or something like that, and so it's enough. It works good enough to conceal that firearm if I've got a nice loose flannel on or something, so that you can't really see that. But the functionality of the Blackhawk is really good. And another thing is the price point. These aren't that expensive. I've seen a lot of other holsters out there that are quite a bit more money, and to me they don't function any better. They are what they are, but and I'm not saying they're bad, but dollar for dollar, these are, to me, they're just better. Again, holsters are one of those things where it's absolutely a personal preference. Some things, they fit really good for some people and not others, and I don't like this style, but I like that style. So, take all this for what it's worth, but the quality of them, I think, is definitely there. They're good holster. Like I said, I own pretty much all Blackhawk holsters, other than some leather holsters that I built for myself. But that's a whole different ballgame there. So anyways, I'm going to link these below. Again, if you use those links, they are affiliate links, so we make a couple cents or maybe even a couple bucks every time you use those links. So I certainly appreciate it, because all that money comes right back into our business. So hey, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you really soon. See you next time.